century math cards, a little bit more today. And set A starts with multiplication of a binomial. It also has this lattice multiplication, which for some kids, it's just another way to show multiplication. They typically all know how to multiply already. It's just another way to kind of show that. And some kids really liked it. I would just print out like a worksheet that had a bunch of these just lattices that they could fill in the problems from the subsequent pages or subsequent cards so that they could use that to do that.
Cool.
Anyway. And there's some like history stuff. Prior to the 14th century, Roman numerals were still used in Europe. Blah, blah, blah. So tells the kids a little bit about it. So we're going to start out with using the colored beads as we explore binomials. So if we look at page 158 of this version of the album, it is called Square of a Binomial and Trinomial. So I would assume it is in volume 3 or 4.
158. 158.
Well, 158 of this version. Their sequence for square of a binomial and trinomial. So
what page is it in the new manual?
It's the first chapter of number 4.
So it says this is their sequence. It has activities for the memorization of multiplication, forming squares from 1 to 10, product of a binomial and monomial. Binomial is 2, monomial is 1. The square, which would be like a 2-digit or 1-digit number. Square of the binomial with the 10 square, square of the binomial with graph paper, square of the binomial using letters in place of numerals, square of a binomial using letters in place of numerals with graph paper, square of a trinomial with the 10 square, so they go through all those things again with a trinomial, which is a 3-digit number. A passage from one square to a successive square, and then on the back side, so a binomial times a different binomial using bead bars. And that's kind of where I actually usually start, is with that binomial times a different binomial using bead bars, which is lesson 20 here, or number 20 on this. So, and that's where these cards start. So that's probably where you're going to start, because starting with A makes sense. So let's take a look at what that says and what page it's on. Or
What chapter?
it's still in chapter 5 or 1.
Or what's the name?
It's called, it says 20, and then it says binomial times a different binomial using bead bars. And I'm going to show you how I do it, and then we'll look at how it's different here. Again, I have my album with everything in it, and if there's anything that you want to look more closely at, you may do that in whatever way works best for you. All right. So I always start this lesson by saying that we are going to be starting to learn about multiplication of binomials. So let's talk about what binomial means. And I have a piece of graph paper. I will give you all if you would like to record things on your own. Mm-hmm. And highlighting this. And my marker. All right. I know. I think it's like to be able to put it in a like a spiral.
I love it.
All right. So I always put our name and the date on the paper. Today is 6/17. And this is going to be called multiplication of binomials. All right. So we're going to start by talking about what is a binomial. So if we look at the word binomial, we can break that word into two parts. We have bi and we have nomial. Does anyone know what bi means?
Two?
Yeah, two. Can you think of any other words that have bi in them?
Bicycle.
Bicycle.
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
Biped.
Biped. So bi means two. And then nomial. We're talking about math.
Number or name?
Yep, number. So number. So a binomial is a two-part number. And so these problems that we do are going to be doing numbers that have two parts to them. And we actually don't start out with two-digit numbers. We're going to start out with one-digit numbers. And let's go ahead. And I brought colored pencils too because we're going to use those as we record. So the first problem that we're going to do is 4 plus 6 times 5 plus 2. We have to put those parentheses because we want to multiply the whole 4 plus 6 times the whole 5 plus 2. And you could probably tell me right now what the answer to this is without doing anything else, right? Because we know that 4 plus 6 is
10.
and 5 plus 2 is 7, and 10 times 7 is 70.
70.
But that's not the point of this work. The point of this work is we're going to be starting to learn steps that we're going to use later when we're doing other problems. So even though we know that the answer is 70, we'll be able to check it pretty easily at the end. But we still are going to go through these steps, and we're going to use these materials as we do. So I have this box of beads. I also sometimes like to use this material, which we use with cubing, but especially as we're learning the colors, we're going to use the beads because we can always check ourselves, but the kids like using this. So I have 4 plus 6, and this is 4 plus 6 taken one time, right? We're going to take 4 plus 6 5 times. So I need to get 4 plus 6 taken 2 times, 4 plus 6 taken 3 times, 4 plus 6 taken 4 times, and 4 plus 6 taken 5 times. And then I like to use a pencil. Let's see, we'll use one of these pencils to just line them up nice and neat on our flat work mat. Kind of just get everything lined up just so. And I leave a little bit of space in between. And now I'm going to put this pencil right here because we're going to take 4 plus 6 2 times. And I leave a little space in between. So now we have 4 plus 6 taken 1 time and 4 plus 6 taken 2 times. All right. I'm going to take this out, and now we have this little pattern here. So this 4 plus 6 times 5 plus 2 is our original problem. So next to that, I'm going to write original problem. And then what we did is we took 4 plus 6 5 times, right? So times 5. And then we took 4 plus 6 2 times. And that's what we call the action taken, right? What we did. So you could write either one. All right, now we're going to name the rectangles. So here I have 4 times 5.
Hmm.
And we go left to right, top to bottom. So then I have 6 times 5. And then I have 4 times 2. And then I have 6 times 2. And then we said that was naming the rectangle, so I'm going to write that down as well. And now we're just going to do our arithmetic, our multiplication. When I do this, I like to write it vertically because we're going to add them together, so we have all those plus signs, and it's easier to add them together for me whenever they're written vertically. So 4 times 5 is
20.
20. I usually do it over here just because that's how I do it. And then 6 times 5 is
30.
30. So right below that, I'll line up my units place. We're going to write 30. 4 times 2 is
8.
And 6 times 2 is
12.
12. I'll put my plus sign here and my equal sign at the bottom, and we're going to add this up. 8 plus 2 is
10.
10. 0, carry the 1. 2 plus 1 is
3.
plus 3.
6.
Plus 1.
7.
70.
6.
So we were right. It is 70. And now we want to record it. So I brought some colored pencils. And the graph paper is really nice here because we can, let's see, purple and yellow if you'd like to record it. And that's blue. I'll start with yellow. So then I just color them in, and I start with circles. And then eventually the kids will just color the whole, like they'll just outline those rectangles, but I like it to be beautiful. We're gonna skip a line. And we'll skip a line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skip a line. All right, so that is the first presentation. They practice that over and over again. We're writing these steps.